For 5,000 years, humanity had one answer to a single question. What is money? Gold. Empires rose, empires fell. Kings conquered, kings died. But through it all, through 5,000 years of human history, gold remained. Until August 15th, 1971. President Nixon went on television and said, "I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold." In that moment, 5,000 years of monetary history ended. For the first time ever, money was backed by nothing. Not gold, not silver, nothing real. Just a promise. And for 50 years, a war has been fought. Gold versus dollar. One will win, one will lose. And your wealth depends on knowing which. Because right now, in 2024, central banks are choosing sides. China bought 600 tons of gold. Russia bought 400 tons. India, Turkey, Poland, all buying gold, while dumping U.S. Treasury bonds. The war that started in 1971 is about to end. And this time, gold is winning. For most of history, money meant gold or silver, something real. Gold has properties that make it perfect money. Scarce, you cannot print gold. Only 3,000 tons are mined each year. All the gold ever mined would fill 3.5 Olympic swimming pools. That is all the gold in the world. Durable. A gold coin buried 2,000 years ago looks the same today. Divisible. You can split gold into any amount. The value remains. Portable. A small amount holds enormous value. These properties made gold inevitable. By 1900, almost every major country was on the gold standard. Here is how it worked. Governments issued paper currency, but that paper was a receipt, a claim on real gold held in vaults. On American dollars before 1971, it said, "Payable to the bearer on demand in gold." The paper was not the money, the gold was the money. This created discipline. Governments could only print as much currency as they had gold to back it. If they printed too much, people would demand their gold back, and the gold would leave. This forced governments to balance budgets, control spending, manage debt. And for a long time, it worked. In 1813, a loaf of bread cost 5 cents. In 1913, 100 years later, it still cost 5 cents. But sound money has an enemy. Governments that want to spend more than they earn, especially during wars. In 1914, World War I began. Governments needed money. Britain, France, Germany all suspended the gold standard temporarily to print money to fund the war. After the war, they tried to return, but it was never the same. In 1944, as World War II ended, the Allied nations met at Bretton Woods. They designed a new system. The US dollar would be backed by gold, $35 per ounce. Other currencies would be backed by dollars. This made the dollar the world's reserve currency because the dollar was as good as gold. And America had the gold. At the end of World War II, the United States held 70% of all monetary gold in the world, 20,000 tons, stored in Fort Knox. And for 25 years, the system worked. But by the 1960s, cracks began to show. America was fighting a war in Vietnam, and President Lyndon Johnson wanted to fight 2 wars, the war in Vietnam and the war on poverty at home. He called it guns and butter. But there was a problem. America did not have enough gold to back all the dollars it was printing. Under Bretton Woods, foreign governments could exchange dollars for gold at $35 per ounce. France, led by Charles de Gaulle, did not trust the dollar. He saw what was happening. America was printing more dollars than it had gold to support. So France started demanding gold,
real gold for its dollars. Ships full of gold sailed from New York to Paris. Other countries followed: Germany, Switzerland, the Netherlands, all converting dollars to gold. By 1971, U.S. gold reserves had fallen from 20,000 tons to 8,000 tons, 60% gone. The Nixon administration faced a choice: stop spending and preserve the gold standard, or abandon gold and keep printing. August 15, 1971, Sunday evening. President Nixon went on television. "I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold." 5,000 years of monetary history ended with one sentence. Notice the word temporarily. It has been 53 years. It was never temporary. The next day, markets opened. Chaos. Gold, which had been fixed at $35 per ounce for 37 years, began to rise. Within months, $50. By 1974, $180. By 1980, $850 per ounce. A 2,400% increase. Why? Because the constraint was gone. For the first time in history, the world's reserve currency was backed by nothing. This is called fiat currency, from the Latin fiat, meaning let it be done. Money by decree, by command. Not backed by gold, not backed by anything physical, backed only by trust and the promise of the government. On August 15, 1971, the fiat era ended and the fiat era began. But gold did not disappear. It waited, in vaults, in central banks, in the hands of those who knew that fiat currencies always fail. Always. Every fiat currency in history has eventually collapsed. The Roman denarius, the French assignat, the German papimark, the Zimbabwean dollar. The average lifespan of a fiat currency is 27 years. The US dollar has been fiat for 53 years. After 1971, everything changed. With gold removed, the constraint was gone. In 1971, the US money supply was $600 billion. Today, $21 trillion. A 3,500% increase in 50 years. This explosion of money created two parallel realities. If you owned assets, stocks, real estate, businesses, you became much richer. The S&P 500 in 1971 was at 100. Today, 6,000, a 6,000% increase. Real estate in 1971, median home price was $25,000. Today, $420,000, a 1,600% increase. If you owned stocks, real estate, businesses, you became much richer. Not because you were smarter, not because you worked harder, but because printed money flowed into assets. But if you were a worker, your wages barely kept pace. In 1971, median wage was $10,000 per year. Today, $56,000, a 460% increase. Assets up 6,000%. Wages up 460%. The gap exploded. And if you saved money in a bank account, you lost the most. $10,000 in 1971 could buy a decent car. $10,000 today has the purchasing power of $1,700. You lost 83% by saving responsibly. This was not an accident. This was the system working exactly as designed. Central banks have two mandates: maximum employment and stable prices. But stable prices does not mean no inflation. It means 2 to 3% inflation every year, compounding. At 2% inflation per year for 50 years, prices increase 260%. Your dollar loses 72% of its value. This is not stability. This is managed decline. And it gets worse because the official inflation rate, the CPI, understates the reality. The government has changed how it calculates inflation over 20 times since 1980. Every change made inflation appear lower. If inflation were calculated today the same way it was in 1980, official inflation would be 3%. Real inflation would be 10%. Your money is disappearing faster than you realize. Meanwhile, gold told the truth. In 1971, gold was $35. Today, gold is over $2,000, a 5,700% increase. If you held dollars, lost 72%. If you held gold, gained 5,000%. Gold versus dollar. One preserved wealth, one destroyed it. For 50 years since Nixon, the world ran on dollars. The petrodollar, Treasury bonds, dollar reserves. America printed, the world absorbed. But in the last 3 years, something shifted. February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. The West responded with sanctions. Russia was cut off from SWIFT, the global dollar payment system. $300 billion of Russian reserves, frozen in an instant. This was a demonstration of American power. The dollar is not just money, it is a weapon. And the world watched. China watched. India watched. Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Turkey, all watched. And they all thought the same thing. If they can do this to Russia, they can do this to us. And quietly, central banks started buying gold. Not just buying, panic buying. In 2022, central banks bought 1,000 tons of gold, the most in 55 years. In 2023, 1,037 tons, another record.
And in 2024, they are on track to break the record again. China. Official purchases, 225 tons. Unofficial, likely double that. China does not report all its buying. Russia. 400 tons in the last 3 years, despite being cut off, or maybe because of it. India. Repatriated 100 tons from UK vaults, bringing it home. Turkey. Increased reserves 300%. Poland, Czech Republic, Singapore, even traditionally dollar-loyal countries, all buying gold. And at the same time, selling U.S. Treasury bonds. For the first time in decades, foreign central banks are net sellers of American debt. They are dumping dollars and buying gold. Why now? Dollar weaponization. If dollars can be frozen, they are not safe. Inflation. The U.S. printed trillions. Gold protects value. Debt crisis. U.S. owes $36 trillion. Debt risk rising. De-dollarization. BRICS building alternative system. And history. Every fiat currency eventually fails. Gold always survives. Central banks, the smartest money in the world, the institutions with the most information, are betting on gold. The question is, what do they know that we don't? This is not a new conflict. This war has been fought for over a century. This is a philosophical war between two visions of money. Gold, sound money. Limited supply, cannot be printed, cannot be manipulated, disciplined, honest, protects savers, punishes debtors, rewards patience, deflationary over time, things get cheaper, empowers individuals because no government can inflate it away. Dollar, political money. Unlimited supply, can be printed endlessly, can be manipulated, flexible, political, punishes savers, rewards debtors, rewards spending now. Inflationary by design, things get more expensive, empowers governments because they control the supply. These two systems cannot coexist. One must win, one must lose. And history shows us which wins. Every fiat currency eventually returns to its intrinsic value, zero. But gold remains. In ancient Egypt, an ounce of gold bought a fine robe. In ancient Rome, an ounce of gold bought a fine toga. Today, an ounce of gold buys a fine suit. 3,000 years, the value unchanged. Gold is not going up, currencies are going down. Gold is the measuring stick, currencies are the variable. This is why governments hate gold, because gold tells the truth. When a government prints money, gold's price rises, exposing the devaluation. Gold is an accountability mechanism, a mirror showing the government's lies. Sound money versus political money, discipline versus discretion, math versus politics, reality versus promises. For 100 years, political money has won. But the tide is turning, because political money only works as long as people believe, and belief is failing. So where does this end? The most likely scenario: governments cannot stop printing. Debt is too large, obligations too many, political will too weak. So they print, and print, and print. Inflation goes from 3% to 5% to 10% to 20, 30, 50%.
like Weimar Germany, like Zimbabwe, like Venezuela. At the breaking point, when the currency is completely worthless, governments declare a reset. Old currency exchanged for new, at a massive devaluation, debts partially forgiven or inflated away. A new currency launched, perhaps a central bank digital currency, fully controlled, fully monitored. During this chaos, gold surges to $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 per ounce. Because gold is the lifeboat when paper money dies. But in all scenarios, gold survives. For 100 years, gold and dollar have fought. 1971 looked like the end. Dollar won. Gold was defeated, buried, forgotten. But it was not the end. It was intermission. Because fiat currencies never last. They burn bright, then burn out. While gold remains. 5,000 years, through empires, through wars, through revolutions, still here, still valuable, still gold. And now, in 2024, the world's smartest investors, central banks, are voting with their reserves, and they are voting for gold. The war that started in 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created, the war that accelerated in 1971 when Nixon severed the final link, is approaching its conclusion. The pendulum has reached its limit. 50 years of pure fiat is ending. And the swing back will be violent. You have a choice. Hold the paper that is losing value, or hold the metal that has held value for 5,000 years. The question is not, will gold survive? Gold always survives. The question is, will the dollar? History has answered. Every fiat currency has failed, all of them, without exception. The dollar is not special. It is just newer. But gold, 5,000 years, and counting. In gold we trust. The 100-year war. Gold is winning.